up? It's your boy T-Bear here in Reaction. Today's Films Friday. Time to get straight to the meat and potato of Films Friday. That is the Dead Meat Kill Count reaction, and we're on the week of franchise week. And the franchise week we have is the Alien Predator series, and we're now officially at the central of the Alien Predator video with the first Alien vs. Predator. They came out in 2004, which was a long-awaited movie, as there always been toys and games and I think comics based off the Alien vs. Predator that they decided to finally in 2004 to make the movie. So this was I actually went to the movie to see this, and this was a cool movie as well too. Shout out to Salaam Latham doing her thing, Tom Flanagan as well too with his cool line, "You ugly son of a bitch." Yep. As well as you know, the whole action as well too, leading up to what happens on the next Alien vs. Predator, what I didn't get to see, but you know, the Colt ending that we introduced the Alien Predator hybrid. I forgot what's the actual official name for it though. We'll probably find at the end or when I watch Alien vs. Predator Requiem. But anyway, let's check out James A. Janisse on this though. I think this is also one of his earlier ones too, so it won't be as energetic as his current ones as well too though. If he doesn't recount these, I will do them. I will react them as well too. But anyway, let's check out Alien vs. Predator, which came out in 2004. Let's get it. What is people buzzing me about saying no? What do y'all want to say? Shout out to my people. Shout out to everybody for sure. Okay, there's just something about it's a mix going on right now. I'm mostly part of it. But anyway, let's get it.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janisse, and today we're looking at Alien vs. Predator, released in 2004. AVP is the big screen confrontation that fans had been waiting to see ever since Dark Horse's Aliens vs. Predator comic books came out in 1989. I bought some of those comics and read the first
So the comic came out in 89. I'm thinking, so that craze been going on since 89. I'm thinking it got started around the early 90s and stuff, because that's what like the toys and the games was coming. Then again, I wasn't like heavily into comics as much as a kid. I just saw a comic or whatever have been watching. It was mostly Marvel or DC comics, and as well as the other one, the one that Wildcats was from. Comment down below what comic company that was from. I forgot what that one was, but yeah, there. But anyway, let's keep going.
Omnibus in preparation for this Kill Count. It wasn't bad, and I'm not even a huge comic book fan. After more than a decade in development, pretty much ever since Danny Glover found the Xenomorph skull in that ship in Predator 2, AVP was finally brought to life by longtime Predator producer John Davis and writer-director Paul W.S.
That
Anderson.
explains why they had that the Xenomorph skull in Predator 2 as well too, because the whole Alien vs. Predator been out before the second Predator came out. That's interesting. All right.
The story they settled on maintains the continuity of both film franchises and takes place largely in Antarctica in the then-present year of 2004. I've already covered the original Alien quadrilogy and the first 3 Predator films on the Kill Count, so if you haven't watched those episodes yet, give them a look. I have awful hair in the
he did do this is so he did do Predators already, but it was before that, so it's gonna be interesting when I do Predators. Want to go to Predators as well too, because it's going to be in between that. But I'm going to order of releases, and Predators I'm assuming came out after Alien vs. Predator. Let me double check. So yeah, 2010. So it's going to be interesting. So this is one of his newer ones, so that's why he's a little more energetic. So it's going to be interesting to see go through these and then go backwards in the one in the video with Predators. But anyway, let's keep going.
Alien ones. After spending so much time with the 2 franchises for those episodes, I've come to really enjoy both alien species. The Xenomorphs from Alien are awesomely gross and Zerg-like, and the Predator species, the Yautja or whatever that word is, are some of the most badass hunters I've ever seen get down. Unfortunately, their first feature film together suffers from a number of issues. A pretty slow start, characters who only exist to get killed, and speaking of the kills, real fucking lame ones. Probably because of the movie's PG-13 rating.
Yeah, I would say, compared to all the, yeah, that was the thing. It was PG-13 because they censor saying "you ugly mother" and they censor it. Yeah, that's the other thing. I didn't think about that. But you know, So Cool movie, just the kills was a little compared to like how the kills were in the previous movie wasn't as like top notch. No, this is pretty much Mortal Kombat going to This pretty much getting them the Mortal Kombat versus DC treatment, man, where the Mortal Kombat fatalities are tame compared to all the other Mortal Kombat's before and later on.
Although, heads up, I am using the unrated version for this kill count, which is about 7 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. I just don't think this movie's worth doing a full cut comparison for. Sorry. How many boring kills will the aliens and/or predators rack up? Let's find out and get to them. The movie, or at least the unrated version of the movie, begins in 1904, where a whaling station in Antarctica is looking pretty deserted, save for this freezer burn dude running around pissing himself silly. He winds up on the ground with a predator laser sight on his chest, but before he can get killed, a xenomorph jumps out and unleashes a title card. Hey, this is a non-smoking void. Take the cigarette outside. You're smoking the...
I don't know why. Maybe I should have watched. I guess I'm not paid. It's been watched to watch that. That's explaining why Prey is this. Because if that happened in 1904, that's the reason why Prey is this.
Place up. When we return, we're in the present, where a xenomorph queen-looking satellite orbits around the blue marble we call home. The satellite is owned by the Weyland Corporation, which in 2004 has yet to merge with Yutani, and it picks up an unidentified heat structure in Antarctica that sends the Weyland eggheads into a scramble. A crack team of various experts are flown to a giant icebreaker ship at the behest of Charles Bishop Weyland, pioneer of modern robotics. The team consists...
I keep forgetting that Aliens is supposed to be taking place, timelines-wise, it's taking place in the present. That's right. This is why. That's why, if y'all know, when I did the I wanted y'all to know if I should do it in movie order, chronological order, or timeline order. That's why I asked you that as well too, though. So anyway, let's keep going.
Of Lex Woods and
that was a good little. I did pause at a good little shot of the beautiful Sanaa Lathan. I guess you didn't know I had the biggest crush on her though, because she was so down to earth, especially most of her characters as well too. So she's like a down to earth person. But yeah.
Antarctic guide played by Sanaa Lathan, a pair of archaeologists named Sebastian and Thomas, whose last job involved recreating the opening from The Exorcist, and Dr. Miller, a chemical engineer played by Ewan Bremner of Trainspotting and Wonder Woman. Charles Bishop Weyland himself is played by Lance Henriksen, who was, of course, the android named Bishop in Aliens and Alien 3. So according to AVP, that android was designed and named after this guy, the CEO of Weyland Industries, who apparently was also the inspiration behind Bishop's knife game programming. Yep, I guess this is where the android learned that from. Weyland tells the makeshift team that they've discovered a pyramid 2,000 feet below the surface of Antarctica, and according to the pyramid professional Sebastian,
this might be the first pyramid ever built.
Oh, sweet, first edition pyramid. You know, pyramids and the Aurora Borealis are cool and all, but could we actually get some XTs up in this bitch? Thank you, we're finally aboard a Predator ship. It's about time we saw some of the titular combatants, and it looks like these Yautja are lasering the goddamn Earth. Cool! And back to the boring ice boat. Son of a bitch. Lex has a team huddle where we get to meet some of the other quote-unquote characters, like the head of the drilling team, Rustin Quinn, and a couple of Weyland's mercenaries, like Mark Verheiden and Adele Rousseau. But honestly, none of them are interesting, and they're only here to increase my kill count graphic workload. They take a bunch of snowcats and head out into the Antarctic expanse, which really just makes me want to turn this movie off and watch The Thing instead. They get to the pyramid site, which turns out is directly below that whaling station we saw in the unrated version's cold open. Cold open? Like Antarctica? Get it? The station's been abandoned since 1904, and now its only resident is this adorable penguin! Oh man, as much as it would suck to see a penguin get face hugged, how dope would a pengualien be? The team finds a perfectly drilled hole in the ground, the result of that space laser we saw a few minutes ago, but while they're busy wondering how it got there, I'm just fixated on how fun it would be to slide down that motherfucker. Before they head down there though, Lex discovers that Weyland be getting high. Or wait, no, that's a medical thing, because I guess he has some health issues. His sickness is never specified, but it sure sounds pretty terminal, because after Lex tries to make him stay behind, he insists on coming so he can leave some kind of legacy.
You know what I realize will happen when I go? 10% fall in share prices. Maybe 12. That's it.
And so he joins them as they climb down the tunnel in a very unfun way. Come on, you cowards, just grab a potato sack and fly.
This is that time. I think I watched this without watching the original Alien, like knowing the full Nas of the original Alien. I think I knew about Predator more than Alien as well too, so that's why I didn't know about that being the Bishop that was the androids on the previous Aliens. So yeah.
Some suboptimal surface weather conditions do actually lead to Weyland having a good time slide around for a mo, but Lex says no fun allowed and puts an end to that shit with her ice pick. Playtime is over. When they get to the bottom, they don't go back to the top of the slide. Instead, they stop and they turn, and their minds go for a ride. Because right now, they're looking at the world's first ever pyramid. Cool! Like, literally, it's gotta be pretty cold down there.
Congratulations, Mr. Weyland. Looks like you'll be leaving your mark after all.
Yeah, go piss on it. Leave that mark. They head up the stairs and into the pyramid, where hieroglyphics show just how long this damn movie was in development. An inconvenient step triggers some kind of mechanical system that's shown to us in a very Resident Evil way using holographic maps that zoom in and out of the action. Not surprising, since writer-director Paul W.S. Anderson had just made the first Resident Evil movie 2 years prior to this. The system that was triggered pulls an alien queen out of deep freeze and puts her in a microwave on the dethaw setting. And it must be a high wattage microwave too, because she comes back to life immediately. Great practical effects here. One of this movie's strong points is ADI's kick-ass puppetry for the xenomorphs. All this human activity has captured the attention of the Predators on their spaceship, so they suit up and fly their craft right on over to the whaling station, where 3 pods are jettisoned to give us a triple dosage of Preddy action. In other words, it's finally time for some friggin' kills. Unfortunately, the first batch of kills are of a whole bunch of nameless mercenaries. The first victim is killed in first-person Predator vision, something we've all seen before. And then the invisible Predators land among these no-names and get to murdering them with their usual bag of Predator tricks, accompanied by a lot of bad-looking CGI blood in the unrated version. At the end of this attack, 4 mercs have been murked, and although they're all nameless nobodies, I can at least appreciate the shots of this last dude with a spear pinning him to the wall. Head driller Quinn shows up, and after finding his 4 former co-workers strung up in classic Predator fashion, he shoots at a shimmering outline to reveal the cool-looking leader of the Predators in this movie. This Predator, named Celtic, apparently, knocks Quinn down the ice slide, so at least someone gets to use this thing properly. Thanks, Mr. Alien, see you at the bottom! As Celtic admires his work, he's flanked by the other 2 Preds in this movie, Chopper and Scar. We transition back to the human cast with another blatant ripoff of Resident Evil. Wait, can you call it a ripoff if it's by the same director? Or should we just call it lazy? Either way, the humans stumble upon a sacrificial chamber where a bunch of skeletons are laid out. Way too old and decomposed for me to include on the count. Cause like what? Would you want me to count up all these wall skulls too? That's stupid. They also find the calcified carcass of a facehugger and some hieroglyphics that Thomas is able to read with surprising ease.
They gave their lives so the hunt could begin.
What kind of hunt, you ask? Well, the one that involves this big mama alien and her nasty sack of xenomorph eggs. Oh, and she's laying them down all gross on a conveyor belt? I know it's painful, Xeno Queen, but push. We need something to put up a good fight against the Predators, because that Quinn dude sure isn't in any condition to do so. He gets killed quickly and unceremoniously by the Predator who will come to be known as Scar, with an off-screen slash that covers some nearby snow and blood. Weyland's bodyman Maxwell discovers an additionally subterranean chamber, and all the important characters head down there.
Hold up. That black guy in the show, wasn't he? He's on Resident Evil as well too. The one that got sliced up by the little laser thing. Comment down below.
Leaving second stringers like Thomas and Rousseau behind in the sacrificial chamber. The characters who descended find a sarcophagus and open it to reveal that it's filled with dry ice. Cool! You know, like literally. Again, last time I promise. It's also got a trio of Predator plasma casters, the shoulder-mounted cannon that is my favorite of all of the Predator's weaponry. Showing a remarkable level of ignorance, Mr. Weyland's team takes the plasma casters, which of course triggers some more Legends of the Hidden Temple shit. It all gets reported back to the Predators on their wrist doodads and sends them running deeper into the pyramid. The pyramid innards start to shift around the humans, with staircases revealing themselves and most of the doors around them sealing shut. The people in the sacrificial chamber are completely closed in, which is pretty bad news considering that a bunch of xenomorph eggs just rose up at the foot of all those sacrifice tables. Even worse for the 6 people left in there is when the eggs immediately begin to hatch, because gross looking facehuggers climb out and fly through the air in bullet time to do what they do best. Get that thrusty. Later on, Rousseau comes to and finds the rest of the people in the chamber getting face fucked. And although Rousseau is the only one who we actually see get killed here, I'm gonna count Thomas and the other 4 people people stuck in that room as dead right now. We never see them again after this, but it's safe to say they're all victims of the classic chest burst. The remaining group of humans are trying to find their way out of the pyramid when the three predators come across them. We all know predators only attack beings that propose a threat, but these TSA scans show that the humans are indeed packing heat. So the Preds launch another attack, and this merc named Stone is the first to go when he gets a noose around his neck. Come here! Killed off screen above the rest of his team. The humans break out into a panic after that, which only escalates when another merc named Bass, or Base maybe, gets killed by a telescoping spear that gets thrown through his chest. I guess those things are also called combi sticks? Call it whatever you want, man. It's friggin' dope either way. The team fails to successfully shoot down Scar the Predator, and after the Pyramid Stones shift around again, like this a goddamn Tomb Raider game or something, everybody who's not dead gets separated into a number of smaller groups. This one guy, Joe Connors, finds himself completely alone and crawling through some tunnels until a first-person xenomorph comes along and abducts his ass. The same fate befalls Dr. Miller and that surly mercenary Verheiden. After a trapdoor separates them from each other, Dr. Miller gets yoinked up into the ceiling, and after cribbing a classic Predator line, "You ugly son of a bitch!" Verheiden is captured as well. Once again, I've just gotta compliment the practical effects done by Amalgamated Dynamics Inc., better known as ADI. They were that company whose practical effects in the Thing prequel got replaced by CGI because of the studio. Fun fact, ADI was co-founded by Tom Woodruff Jr., a protege of Stan Winston who played xenomorphs in Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, and both AVP movies. Elsewhere in the pyramid, the other group of survivors is being slowed down by Wayland's sick ass coughing all over the place. That makes them easy prey for the Predators, who find them and launch a Cyrax net at Maxwell, which pins him against the wall. The net begins to constrict, and it proves to be made of an unbreakable material, so Maxwell is stuck there as the big chonker Preddy Celtic stomps up to the group and starts kicking ass indiscriminately. He raises Sebastian into the air by his neck and is able to multitask enough to kill Maxwell off with his telescoping spear, stabbing through his body and the stone behind him to give us another shot of a weapon dripping with CGI blood, which is only slightly better than the much cleaner weapons featured in the PG-13 theatrical version. Lex is attacked by Chopper, the underwhelming third wheel of the Predator trio, but before he can use his wrist blade to kill her, he gets stabbed through the back by a xenomorph tail.
Shit.
The buggy bastard lifts Chopper up and brings him face to face for a nice poster image before it kills him with a head bite from its inner jaw. And in case you're new here, I try to restrict the kill count to humanoids, meaning predators like Chopper will go on the count, but the insectoid xenomorphs will not. Call me speciesist if you want. You'll see later why I ain't about to include those bugs. Celtic sees that his bro just got killed, so he tosses Sebastian aside to take care of the bug menace. We finally get some of the Alien vs. Predator fight that was promised in the title, and I, for one, am pretty satisfied by it, even if it does get a little pro wrestling when Celtic swings the xenomorph around by its leg. But I love it when Celtic cuts part of the Xeno's tail off, and when the Xeno whips it around to spray acid blood onto Celtic's armor. Yeah, take it off, Preddy boy! Celtic manages to net the Xenomorph when he tries to ambush him from above, and when the net's constriction breaks open the Xeno's skin, it leads to this particular Xenomorph individual getting the nickname Grid. Grid's acid blood allows it to break out of the net, and it wins the battle by tackling Celtic and headbutting him with its inner jaw. Boom! That is a lot of fluorescent Preddy blood. I'm a little sad because I thought Celtic looked pretty awesome, but I guess you can't make an AVP without cracking a few Preds. Lex, Sebastian, and Wayland make it into another chamber, but with Wayland too sick to carry on, he agrees to stay behind and fight the final predator, Scar, while the other two get away. Scar does an MRI on the CEO and finds his ambiguous sickness, so he actually lets him go, like the City Hunter did with the pregnant detective in Predator 2. But Wayland's not backing down.
Don't turn your back on me.
And he uses a makeshift flamethrower to briefly light part of Scar's armor up. Yeah, dude, obviously the Predator is fireproof. What'd you think you were doing? All you've done is make him look cool. Scar murders Charles Bishop Wayland by stabbing him through the chest with his wrist blades and letting his feeble body fall and roll down the stairs. Long live the CEO. Lex and Sebastian make their way through the ever-changing pyramid, while Scar gives us some awesome kills with a shuriken that sadly won't go on the count because, like I already said, they're just a bunch of fucking bugs. Nice half decap,
that was hot right there, yeah.
By killing that xenomorph,
Scar
Scar
was awesome.
graduates from a young blood Yautja to a blooded warrior. So he removes his mask and gives himself a mark signifying this rite of passage right on his forehead with alien acid blood. Too bad his face about to get hugged. Xeno style.
Yeah.
By looking at more engravings on the wall, Sebastian is able to figure out what purpose this pyramid serves for the Predators.
They've been sent here to prove that they're worthy to become adults.
Yep, consider this a pred mitzvah. These teenage Yautja had to come here and kill a
teenagers.
xenomorph in order to gain their adulthood and the right to use those plasma casters. Some more hieroglyphics lead into a flashback that shows how predators landed on the Earth thousands of years ago. And after teaching human beings cool shit like how to build pyramids, they were worshipped as gods. Not a bad gig, Preds. Every 100 years after that, the Predators would make the humans have a sacrifice party to breed some xenomorphs for game hunting. And I guess I have to include these 7 sacrificial maidens on the count if I want to be consistent. Fun fact, the one in front is played by Karima Adabib, who was the model for Lara Croft between 2006 and 2008. With every new batch of Xenos created, the Preds would gather to battle the Serpentine aliens, as shown in this scene that serves as a perfect example of why I don't include Xenos on the count. However, I do include Predators, and since we see 3 of them fighting from the top of that pyramid, and then see one of them set off a sore loser self-destruct bomb, I'll go ahead and count 3 of our warrior alien friends in my continuing effort to not break my own rules for this show. By now, Dr. Miller has woken up, alive if not well, and he finds himself stuck to the wall with Verheiden to his left getting face hugged. To his right is the corpse of Joe Connors, that other dude who was abducted earlier, and by now he's been chest bursted, so I'll go ahead and add him to the count. Miller sees a facehugger coming at him, and very impressively manages to shoot it down before it can mate with his face. But we soon see that he's gonna need a whole lot more bullets if he wants to make it out of this place alive. Lex decides that she wants to give that last remaining predator his plasma caster back, arguing that the enemy of their enemy is their friend. Before they can find their friend though, a xenomorph appears and chases them to a broken bridge that they have to jump over. Lex doesn't quite make it all the way, and while Sebastian is trying to help her out, a xenomorph appears and drags him away. Oh no! After getting up over the edge, Lex carries on by herself and eventually finds Scar, who's ready to show her he's not a little boy anymore. He's a man! She kneels down in submission to his manliness and slides over the plasma caster. But before he can grab it, another xenomorph appears and attacks the predator. After knocking Scar aside, the xenomorph pounces at Lex, only to get impaled upon the predator combi stick, earning Lex her very own xenomorph kill, as well as some silent respect from Scar. He uses his newly earned plasma caster to blow apart a bunch of Xenos, giving us fun alien explosions and intestines spilling out to the ground. And when he goes to leave, Lex demands to come with him. He reluctantly agrees to let her tag along, but Scar wants her to be prepared. So first he makes her a dope-ass sword and shield made of xenomorph armor that should protect her against their acidic blood. Alright Lex, you armed and ready? Cool. Initiate slightly romantic interspecies buddy cop sequence. Grid knows that if the aliens want to win against the power of love, they're gonna need the assistance of the queen herself. So a couple of Xenos sacrifice themselves to some tongue punching in order to use their acid blood to dissolve the chains keeping the queen in captivity. Then the queen rips herself free of the nasty egg sac below her, allowing her to run down this corridor looking like a dinosaur. Lex comes across the egg chamber and finds the strung up body of Miller, now having been chest bursted for show. I'm gonna go ahead and put Verheiden on the count right now too. Although we don't see the mercenary in this scene, we know that he was next to Miller, and even though he was alive last time we saw him, I think by this point it's safe to assume he's joined Miller in having been chest bursted. Lex also finds Sebastian in a similar position, and although he's still alive, Scar's x-ray scan shows that he's already got an alien bun in his human oven. He tells Lex not to let the xenomorphs reach the surface, and then she puts him out of his misery, apologizing as she shoots him in a mercy kill. Legit, Lex. Way to do what's necessary. As for the chest burster Sebastian was hosting, Scar takes care of that little feller with a real simple neck snap.
Yep.
Seeing that there are plenty more eggs with facehuggers hatching, Scar initiates the self-destruct bomb and tosses it into the chamber. Then he and Lex make a super cute super getaway, fleeing from the pyramid and getting back to their little sled at the bottom of the ice tunnel. Before they can escape though, a xenomorph lands on Scar's back and impales him with its tail. Luckily, Lex saves her space boyfriend after once again referencing the same Arnold line from Predator.
There you go.
You are one ugly mother.
Yeah, we get it, AVP. You can reference other classic lines once in a while too, you know? The lovebirds leap onto the sled right as the self-destruct bomb goes off, giving them a little extra oomph as they fly through the tunnel. That looks hella fun, and also hella dangerous, as they launch out of it at the end. But no worries, they're back on their feet and running away together in no time, looking like the cutest action couple I've seen since Riggs and Murtaugh. The whaling station collapses all around them as they continue their marathon to safety. When they finally get a chance to breathe, Scar takes off his mask, which has gotta be a bit disappointing to Lex, to say the least. I bet she's feeling pretty catfished right about meow. Borrowing a moment from the comics that involved a lady named Machiko Noguchi, Scar bestows Lex with the Mark of the Blooded, which will make for one badass story she can tell for the rest of her life. But after the swearing-in ceremony, the alien queen bursts forth from the ground for one last action sequence. It's a decent battle between Scar and the Xeno Queen, and Lex even gets in on the action when she sticks the queen with the tail of one of her own children and makes her fall into a burning building. I love that shot. Then we get into full-on Jurassic Park mode. Talk about must go faster, as the AQ chases Lex underneath a big water tank or something. I don't know the ins and outs of whaling stations. Scar rejoins the fight just in time to save Lex. And together, the two of them chain the alien queen up to that giant vat right as it begins to fall over a cliff. Before it does though, the Antarctic queen impales Scar through the back with her tail. Oh man, do you see this shit? This sucks! As payback for stabbing her new boyfriend, Lex finishes pushing the vat over the cliff, and it drags the queen down all the way through the ice sheet and deep into the freezing water below. This is kind of like an Antarctic version of the old airlock trick that they used in the first two Alien movies. Lex goes to tend to Scar, but it's too late. That dude dead. Sorry, Lex. I guess it's back to the online dating scene, huh? As she mourns her lost would-be lover, a bunch of other predators appear out of nowhere. But since they see that Lex is rocking that tribal tattoo, they leave her be as they carry Scar's body into their giant spaceship. This awesome-looking predator, who's apparently an ancient predator, gifts Lex a combi stick and then takes off for his spaceship, twirling his fucking cape as he does it. A predator in a cape, man. That's like Fonzie levels of cool. The spaceship leaves Lex, you know, like pretty much stranded in the middle of Antarctica, so that sucks. But I guess that snowcat there is supposed to give us hope that she won't die. The movie ends aboard the Predator's spaceship, where Scar's body is laid out in front of a giant window. But don't look now, there's a chest burster inside of him. And that motherfucker is here to say, sequel! We had a three-way war in this movie, so surely there must have been a bunch of kills. Let's find out how many and get to the numbers. Oh, damn it! It's getting my thrusty! It's getting my thrusty! I counted 32 humanoid deaths in Alien vs. Predator, which again means that xenomorphs weren't included. The victims included 6 predators, 18 human dudes, and 8 human ladies, although 7 of those were sacrificial maidens in a flashback. With the unrated version's runtime of 109 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 3.41 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Celtic. I love the headbutt, and this is the only time in this movie that we got to see it in all its glory. Gotta love all that glow-in-the-dark blood going everywhere. Dull Machete for lamest kill has plenty of options, but the second death of this movie was a mercenary being thrown into a table. What kind of horseshit is that? Being killed by a table slam? Mick Foley would be ashamed. And that's it. Alien vs. Predator came out in 2004 and made a whole bunch of money, which of course means that they made a sequel. We'll look at that movie, the much darker AVP Requiem, next week. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons.
There you have it, though. This was a good way to remember everything I watched in the movie, but also now that I have a little more knowledge of both Aliens and Predator, that I understand, like, I understand why this and that happens as well, too, though. Now, can't wait to, now, next time we go through the, next time we'll go through the next Alien Predator week, we'll be checking out Alien vs. Predator Requiem. As he said, was a darker sequel. So that being said, next week we'll be returning to Critters. We became Critter Week now as well too. As you know, that week gonna be like a week for any like stuff like this, like a week for any newer franchise-like films as well too, just to make room for that. And then week after, we'll return with the poll week, as we have a couple new entries in the poll as well too. I might be hesitant on one of the entries because of the newer Kill Count, which is Urban Legend. I heard it came out. In case they do if it comes to do more than one Urban Legends, I'm gonna save that for another franchise, newer franchise week as well too. So yeah, we're doing Alien. So next week is Critters, then we got that poll week, and then after that we've cap off Stranger Things, and then back to Aliens, and and now I'll figure out something to do in place of the Stranger Things possibly, or just shorten the load. Those will be too much to do. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.